Well, hey friends, Roger here, and welcome to my channel, Rogers Reads. So today I'm doing my TBR for the Queer Lit Readathon, and this takes place from May 31st to June 6th. It's hosted by Kathy Trithart. And I'll put a link to the original announcement video below so you can check it out and decide if you want to do it yourself. So the challenges take the form of a bingo board, and I'll put a screenshot of it above somewhere. And the mission, should you decide to accept it, is to obtain bingo by meeting all of the challenges in a horizontal or vertical line. And I think diagonal would work too. If my memory serves me correctly, bingo works diagonally. I don't know, I haven't played bingo since I was a little kid, so I really don't remember. But the hosts have stressed that you don't need to obtain bingo if you don't want. You don't have to achieve it in a strange line. The goal here is to just read queer books during this week. So I chose a few challenges for this one. And the first challenge that I chose, actually it meets two challenges, backlist title and rainbow cover, is Rainbow Boys by Alex Sanchez. It's a backlit title because it's been on my shelf for quite a few years. Actually, I got this when it first came out, and I think it came out, when did it come out? 2001, so it's been out for a long time. So I actually read this when it first came out, and subsequently I purchased the two additional books that are in this series. And I've been meaning to get to them as well, but I wanted to reread this one first because it's been a long time since I read it, and I really don't remember too much of what it is about. But it does follow three very different high school boys, Jason, Kyle, and Nelson, and not all of them are necessarily out. In fact, I think only one of them is out. So this is basically a coming of age story and a coming of out story of these three boys. And I'm looking forward to rereading it because, like I mentioned, I really don't remember anything about it. And who knows, maybe I'll even get to the other two this month as well. So the next challenge is disabled main character. For that, I went with Mark Gilson and the Gazebo, written by Anita Sunday. Now, for those of you who've watched my channel for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of Anita Sunday's male romance novels. I've read quite a few of them actually, and she's known as the queen of slow burn. So this is the second book in the Love Inscribed series, so they can be read as standalone novels. And I did read the first one actually. It was called Liam Davis and the Raven. And the main character in this story was a character in that story as well. And the book follows Travis Hunter, a paraplegic photographer and econ student, and Mark Gilson, who's also from the first book, and supposedly these two begin a romance, which I'm sure is not going to be an easy task, because if my memory serves me correctly, Mark was really a dick in the first book, so should be fun. The next challenge is a graphic novel. For that one, I went with Heartstoppers, written by Alice Oseman. This has also been on my shelf for well over a year already, and I also subsequently bought the other two books in this series. And I don't know too much about this, except that it's a super sweet romance between two boys. So what more do you need to know? And this is an example of the art. And the art is in black and white. So Heartstopper. The next challenge is group. So this actually meets two of the challenges: the group read and the queer friends. And the group read book for this is This Is What It Feels Like by Rebecca Barrow. And it follows a group of lesbian friends, so that's how it meets the queer friends challenge. And I don't know anything at all about this book. I'm going in blind. I'm reading it because it's the group read, so it should be fun. I do enjoy sometimes going into a book without even having read the synopsis. So, And I'll be reading this on ebook, so again, I'll put the cover up above. Now, if I want to make bingo, I need to read one more book. For that, this is actually a double feature book, and the name of it's called Double Feature, Attack of the Soul-Sucking Brain Zombies / Bride of the Soul-Sucking Brain Zombies. And this is written by Brett Hardinger, and this is the third book in the Russell Middlebrook series. And I purchased this quite some time ago after having read the first 2 books in this series, which I really enjoyed. And I think that they can be read as standalones. Because the first one was Geography Club, and the second one was, what was it? Order of the Poison Oak. Oh, and the challenge that I'm using for these is the Summer Vibe Challenge. Though, you know, truth be told, I really don't know if these books take place in the summer or really have a Summer Vibe Challenge. But just the title, the double feature, reminds me of the old double feature drive-in movies that I used to go to when I was a kid. These 2 books revolve around plays, and the first one is the Attack of the Soul-Sucking Brain Zombies, and the next one is Bride of the Soul-Sucking Brain Zombies, which kind of sounds like the cheesy horror movies that I used to watch at the drive-in when I was a kid. So that kind of gives me a summer vibe to it, but I'll let you know once I read the book. And speaking of drive-ins, I recently read an article that because of the pandemic, drive-ins are expected to make a huge comeback this summer. And actually, our local theater here, the Marcus Theater, is showing movies outside this summer. I guess they have a sheet at the side of the building and they're projecting movies there, or they put up a large screen at the side of the building. I think they're like charging $25 for a carload or something like that. So we may be seeing a resurgence of the old drive-in movies. So that is it for my TBR for the Queer Lit Readathon. And again, I'll put a link to the original video below so you can check it out if you decide to do the readathon. How about you? Are you doing any interesting readathons this month? If so, let me know in the comments. And did you like this video? If so, please click the like button below, as that really helps my channel out. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support, and I'll talk to you all in the next video. Roger and out.